Artificial intelligence detects blood pressure just by looking at your face. Special state liaisons can now help manage your cyber risks. New electronics demo at the CES Expo of 2022. And what tech giant hit $3 trillion stock share value this week. All that and more next on the Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Errin Moss.
Hello, Tucson and the podcast world and nerd world. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for up-to-date scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 74. I'm Errin Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m. We post all of our shows and bonus content on computerdoctorshow.com. Again, computerdoctorshow.com. Our open lines, 520-790-2040. Feel free to call in anytime with your comments and questions and even complaints we can answer. Co-hosting today is the Secretary of the American Association of University Women. She also serves as the Wish Board on the Wish Board of Make-A-Wish. She's also the contractor of Solar Pro AZ, so it's a pleasure having Errin Mendibles helping out co-hosting today on very short notice. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Errin. You forgot that I'm also an honorary commander with the 418th Squadron at Davis-Monthan.
That sounds very important.
It is very important that I show up.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here. The Computer Doctor Show is sponsored by the expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works near Speedway and Craycroft. They have a 26-point inspection that's free that I have actually taken advantage of myself with my car. And they're great over there. They're very, very thorough. They were able to catch things that other shops were not able to catch. So definitely give them a visit or call them at 520-323-8650. We have a great show today. And so let's get into our tech news this week. So there is an artificial intelligence that is detecting blood pressure. It's part of this app. It detects blood pressure by just looking at a short video of your face. So
I think men might need to have these things on wrists. So, or maybe women can have them on their wrists so that we can know if a guy's, blood pressure's gone up or, if we're like, oh God, he's a hot mess, like walk away, ladies, walk away.
So this is part of an app. It's a feature inside of an app called Benya. It's spelled BINA.AI. Again, that's BINAH.
Yeah, mine would be called Dunya. Like, we're done here. Goodbye. So, that's great.
So they were able to get this thing to work. They did a study that is unpublished. They used about maybe 250 people, and apparently they had some accuracies with it. So the concept is not new. So before the show, we were talking about pulse oximetry. So if you ever go to the hospital and you have to put your finger in that machine that grabs your finger, it actually starts to read out your pulse, and it also reads out your oxygenation in a percentage. So how does it do that? It uses laser, and it's able to do that with just a laser picture.
Right.
So
I think it's all of this technology is pretty fascinating. As a type 1 diabetic, we have things now that can test your blood sugar similarly. But I think it's just, if you have tattoos, if you are dark skinned, lots of things.
Or if you're wearing a lot of makeup,
on your arms, which, maybe if you're really hairy, that could be another issue.
Yes, facial hair also came up.
But all of those things are great for medical technology. I think you had said, getting doctors for telemed appointments, those are all really good. But I think, it's great, but when I go into a doctor's office and a med tech doesn't know how to take my blood pressure just a good old-fashioned way, you're driving in an ambulance and all of a sudden someone doesn't know how to take your blood pressure. It's a little alarming, but, the technology is great. Where we're going is great, but I think it's, fascinating to see what they come up with.
Now, just to make sure that we're saying things accurately, this is not clinical level yet.
Okay.
It is only, the app said that they only released it to people only because the users requested it. And it was something that they were working on, and they got a little bit of, I think they may have gotten a little bit ahead of themselves, but they actually went ahead and released it into this app. And but the clinical standard is still blood pressure with a cuff that gets inflated. That is still the standard of accuracy.
Because, I got an Oculus too for my daughter. Well, my mom actually got it for her. But, and I think, I envision having doctor's offices in an Oculus 2 office, and you socially AI walk in and you
Can
sit
you
down.
fly in?
I would definitely fly in some very bedazzled shoes.
Okay.
And, you sit down and you talk to other users in the waiting room, and all of that is what I envision is about to happen. Where are we, Errin, with that?
Scary.
Yeah.
But we also have to think about the security about it, which brings us to our next point. So the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, or the CISA, because we always we hate acronyms on this show.
Okay.
We always say the full thing.
Okay.
Okay, so what they are doing now, they just had this special forum. So there are these state liaisons now. They call them navigators. And basically all states have apparently participated in this forum, and it's starting off with election offices. They're starting with elections offices because there was this big misunderstanding or challenging of what is secure, what is not secure, especially during election times. But the hope here and the goal there is to roll this type of camaraderie between all government agencies so that they're all on the same playing field with their security. They're always releasing all these new articles about how to protect the agency, how to protect things, but there's nobody out there that's going around making sure that everyone is implementing to make sure. And that's what this is all about. Governments, they have a difficult time communicating with each other. Before the show, we were talking about
right hand and left hand.
DMV doesn't talk to the insurance. They don't talk to the courts. And, so you're like the communication. You're the one that has to bring the paperwork and, sign it and authorize it and send it off and wait for a response and then bring it back to them. They can't communicate directly. So that's part of the problem.
Right. So the title of this person, when they go around, are they the implementer? Is that they're the director of implementers? What are we going to title them?
They are calling them navigators.
Okay.
I don't know why, but the article also said they're like liaisons. In other words, they don't direct. They can only suggest. They can say they don't have the authority to go into someone's data center and say and start going in there, switching wires around, making changes, changing settings and things. They can't do that. They can only say, I've noticed this. What you need to do is change that to that, move this wire over here, like that. So I think by that they're being called navigators or liaisons because they're only making suggestions. That's what I've gotten from the article. So,
and now we no longer use the word navigator. At least in the 418th, they don't have navigators anymore. They're electrical engineers or something fancy. But the B-17 had a navigator, a pilot, a co-pilot. Well, maybe they weren't called navigators quite back then, but there were navigators. My stepbrother was in the Air Force, so he was a navigator. So I think it's interesting. We are no longer calling in the military navigators, but now we're using it in government affairs.
Yeah.
You're a navigator.
Apparently. Now, also, since we're still in the beginning of January, that also is the CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Expo show. So this year in 2022, I believe it's still going on today. I saw some reports that it had ended yesterday, but there are some pretty cool things that are being released for the first time that we can expect for 2022, some of the electronics. And so one of them was that there seems to be a trend with adding bonus screens to laptops. So if you have maybe like an Apple laptop within the past 2 years, they have that bar across the top of the keyboard, but it's not on the screen side. It's on the keyboard side. It's on the bottom part, but it's actually like a little screen. It actually has letters that come up on there, and it's touch
Really?
It's like a touch screen, and you can do like little waves and like little. If you're playing a video, you can scroll through the video, things like that. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, what they're trying to do is which one was it? It was the 3rd generation Lenovo ThinkBook is going to be like this. They're going to have this extra pad on the side of the keyboard side of the laptop, and on this little screen thing, you can have special buttons laminated on there that can be touched. So, for example, if you're opening an app that uses specialized keys, you can have those there, and it could also double as a signing thing where you can write on it and it'll show up on the screen. So it's very, very, as we move into the age of digital documents and digital signing, those things are pretty cool.
The resale of those computers will be interesting. So what was on your digital screen? Let's take a look.
But your average laptop has lots of blank space. So if you have the keyboard, then you have the touchpad. To the left of the touchpad, to the right of the touchpad, that's just blank space.
Right.
So they're putting stuff.
Yeah.
Cool
God
stuff
forbid we just have blank space, like Taylor Swift said. There's an album.
There we go. Also, there's a gizmo called the HyperX Cloud Alpha S, which is a $200 wireless headset. And here's what makes it cool. It has a 300 hours of battery life.
That's incredible. I mean, that really is incredible. I can have my AirPods go for a couple hours, and then I have to charge them, and then I have to charge the case.
Yes.
And then I have to charge my phone and charge my watch, and we are no longer wireless.
Right. It beats the days when you used to have to wind up your watch. Now you have to charge them every day, right? Also, there's more TVs and displays that are offering more casting features as we move away from traditional TV. All the TVs that we can expect in 2022.
Smart TV.
More smart TV, more features, more casting ability, more ability to connect your smartphone to the TV, and more interaction with your smart devices within the house.
And when you say casting abilities, what is that?
So let's say that you have a Netflix account. You can put your Netflix get your Netflix on the phone. Then there's a little button at the top of this of your phone that says cast, and you can hit that button, and your TV, any smart TVs,
like
AirPlay or cast. AirPlay is the Apple version of casting.
Okay.
But the base word is casting.
Gotcha.
But AirPlay is the Apple product of that. But
clearly I'm an Apple person.
Yes. And also, you had mentioned before the show the AirTags for the wallet.
Yes.
So there's actually now a new credit card looking thing that you can put in your wallet, and actually has tracking ability. So you don't have to lose your wallet again.
But a young lady was AirTagged and stalked by a male in LA.
There is lots and lots of double things that we have to so there's a lot of security that comes along with that. We're going to talk about that in a future show, but we're going to take our midweek commercial break with a word from our sponsors. Up next, what company hit $3 trillion stock and share this week, and also Science and Tech Anniversaries shows. This is the Computer Doctor Show.
Dude, man, I'm starving.
Yeah, I want some Cheetos.
Hey, dude, look around, there's no food.
What? Oh, hey, wait, there's one bag over there, grab it.
Hey, cool, dude, let's run, man, run.
Hey, what's wrong?
Man, I don't know, it won't start. Hey, dude, it's got that virus.
Excuse me. Your car sounds pretty sick. I know someone who has the cure. Perfection Auto Works. And you won't need that toilet paper when you get the bill.
Perfection Auto Works can handle all of your auto or truck repairs. Call Perfection Auto Works today, 323-8650. That's 323-8650, or perfectionautoworks.com, 323-8650. That's 323-8650.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508, Visit them on the web at computerdrtucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Errin, today co-hosting today from AZ
Solar Pros AZ.
All right. So, Errin, why don't you take it away? Tell us what you can what's going on with you, and tell us what you have to offer from.
Yeah. So, Solar Pro AZ is actually a local company that was started by three gentlemen a couple years ago. Alex Nueva is one of the owners. And, you know, solar overall, we have over 250, I think we have 295 days of sunshine in Tucson. So it's the best place to have solar. Solar Pro AZ is not one of those companies that's calling you, harassing you, which is great. It was important for me to know that before I went on with them. And we're just a very local company with a manufacturing ability here in Tucson. We have a warehouse here in Tucson. We also put all of our servicing done through us. It's not a third-party contractor that's coming out to your house, which is important. For all qualified homeowners right now, we are doing for 1 year no solar payment, which is incredible. I've gone through a couple other solar companies and no one is doing that. It's a pretty big investment. What other companies do is ask if you want to have an alarm system and put in or whatever, and that's just a gimmick to get you to stay on. So we don't do that.
So if somebody wants to take you up on that offer, where do they do? What website do they go to? What do they call?
So they can call me at my business number, which is 520-222-5354. I'm on LinkedIn also, and it is Errin with 2 R's when you're searching for me on LinkedIn. And, again, there is the huge solar tax credit that's still going, so it's an incredible opportunity to get solar.
All right. Super. It is time for our announcements. So here is a company that has a sum of $3 trillion, sum of their total shares. So this was Apple. Okay, big surprise. Now, some of the other companies, there are other companies that have hit $1 trillion. So we know Amazon did, and the Tesla and SpaceX, they're up there in the trillions right now. But nobody else has gotten this high of $3 trillion sum of total shares. And they're still hovering about $2.93 trillion, at least as of Wednesday morning. The New York Times says it's still a bonkers numbers that no other company has reached before.
Right. Yeah. Well, when you first said it, I was like, are we talking SUM or SOME? So the context of sum could be something to think about, but that's incredible. That's a huge number. I mean, I don't ever anticipate ever having that number in mind.
Yeah, it's insane that we're into the trillions now, that we might pace possibly. I think technically there is at least 3 trillionaires in the world.
Wow.
Right now.
Yes.
Right now. But
I'm not one of them.
I could be wrong. I'm certainly not one of them either.
Yeah.
Also, this is a little bit out there, but the Kazakhstan government, they shut down their internet amid these protests. Now, on January 5th, just a couple of days ago, there was some violent protests that had erupted over the soaring cost of fuel, and there were some other civil unrest issues. So their president decided to declared a state of emergency and ordered the largest telecom provider to cut the internet to interrupt communications among the opposition ranks. Yeah,
to keep them from being able to really get together, I think, and be able to protest and kind of organize together. I think it's sad. It's really sad to, have that power.
But, tactically, cutting communication is the key. If you're in a tactical situation, war situation, if you have the means to cut communication or cut resources,
you have the power.
Yeah. Yep. That's how wars are won. So they ran into another problem, though. They ran into this problem because they also have they're also very closely connected with India. India has about 12% of the Bitcoin processing.
Right.
So here is a new question. If you have Bitcoin, if you know how the blockchain works, I don't know how familiar you are with the blockchain. If you have a blockchain and then part of that blockchain gets cut off, not from itself, but just cut off from the bigger piece, will it start to function as its own blockchain?
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
And if so, what happens when that connection reconnects later?
Yeah.
Which transactions will then be the real ones?
Right.
Because you can still be doing things in the cut off piece.
Correct.
Okay, and because if you have miners there, transactions will still go because it's saying, okay, this is all good according to what we can see.
Yeah.
But they can see it. They can't see a whole nother world of other miners that are showing something different.
Right.
That's the question.
Things that make you go,
So if there is somebody out there that does have an answer to that, I would love it. Oh my goodness, we're running short on time. But here, let's get into our science and tech anniversaries.
Okay.
So Errin, what do you have for us? Science and tech anniversaries.
So 184 years ago, the Samuel Morse telegraph system was demonstrated for the first time at the Speedwell Iron Works in Morristown, New Jersey. And I know you're from New York, so I'm sure you were right across the river, right?
Right across the river.
The telegraph revolutionized long-distance communications, reaching the height of popularity in the 1920s and 30s. It was slowly replaced by the telephone, faxing, and email. However, it wasn't until January 2006 that Western Union, perhaps the most famous telegram company, sent its last telegraph. I had no idea. 2006, they were still using the telegraph. So
for some people now.
Yeah.
So we have a little image here of what the Morse code looked like. This is a bunch of dits and dots. So my favorite one is the letter F. It's dit.
Yeah.
But if you're in a transmission room on a telegraph machine, you're not typing dit, dot, dit.
Right.
You're doing it much faster, more like dit, dot, dit.
Right. Well, and my favorite movie that, really uses the there's lots of movies, but Titanic, you see those two kids in the cabin and they're
SOS.
They're doing SOS, and I was
there
just people have they have tattoos of the SOS system or the telegraph. Next is January 7th. 95 years ago, 1927, the first commercial transatlantic phone service was made available to the public. Although the cable was laid 69 years earlier in 1858, it was used for telegraph services, which the Morse code was the backbone language. The last telegraph was sent 9 years ago in 2013 in India, and the last telegraph service was then, and it does no longer exist.
That's right. So if you were one of those people that were around just 9 years ago and you were actually, that was so, I would love to just be like a fly on a wall. Because presidents and world leaders, that's how they communicated at that time.
Right. Well, if you ask people, though, and you talk about faxes, sending a fax versus
that's just
using
a couple
your
of
cell
steps
phone.
away from this.
It really, truly is. I remember, people talking about sending a fax. I'm like, you did what?
But we've come a long way, and technology is great. That's why we have this show. We like to keep people updated on what's happening. Before we wrap up, we just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works, again for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location, Speedway Craycroft, for your free 26-point inspection. If you missed any part of this episode, go to computerdoctorshow.com, click on episodes, and find episode 74. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. Errin Mendibles. Yes, was co-hosting today. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Listen to the Computer Doctor Show every single week with new episodes every Saturday. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to the Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.